Hey guys, it's Commander Video here. Welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be doing Nick Fuentes versus Charlie Kirk on Republican primary prediction this time. So let's get into this. So obviously we're starting off in California, where Nick Fuentes and his huge Groyper army are going to come out huge for him in California. So, he can win the state. But the Asians obviously are going to come out huge for Charlie Kirk, since they hate Nick Fuentes, they hate America first, they hate Groypers, they just want to see the Republican Party go back to simping for China and surrendering themselves for China. But I still think Nick Fuentes is going to win the state because, Jeff, Brown Eagle are going to come out huge for them. And they're going to be suppressing anyone who tries to come out and vote against Nick Fuentes so he can win California. Obviously, Puerto Rico is going to come out for Nick Fuentes. The base Hispanics come out to vote for him there. And then the rest of these territories come out to vote for Charlie Kirk since, the Asians there, they're all Asians there, and they hate Nick Fuentes with a passion. Alaska is controlled by the Lisa Murkowski family, is going to be going easily for Charlie Kirk. Alaska's easily going to go for Charlie Kirk. The establishment there really hates Nick Fuentes. Hawaii easily goes for Charlie Kirk. Again, a lot of Asians there, even more than California. And then Arizona, I think Charlie Kirk's going to get like 78% of the vote. It's going to be like McSally versus Damn Daniel. Lalo and John McCain are going to be doing fiery rallies in the dry heat to get huge neocon support. Also, Arizona and Lalo really think that Nick Fuentes is gay for some reason, which is weird because Nick Fuentes is not gay. But that's what Lalo thinks, so he's a neocon and he's a snake. But Arizona's easily going to go for Charlie Kirk. And then obviously Charlie Kirk easily wins Utah. Obviously Mitt Romney comes out and endorses him. Gen Z GOP comes out and endorses Charlie Kirk because obviously that's the future of the Republican Party. And then obviously Nevada is easily going to go for Charlie Kirk because I think DX-18 and his huge gay furry army are going to come out and fight the Groypers and try to make Nevada go for Charlie Kirk. And DX-18 is going to be spending billions of dollars to make that happen, and it is going to happen by a narrow margin since the Republican Party is really changing. And then Oregon, the Republican vote isn't being suppressed, and Red Voyager comes out huge for Nick Fuentes, so he can easily win the state. And then Charlie Kirk is going to win Washington because Posty is going to come out and huge for him since he's a rhino Republican. That's why he's endorsing every Democrat in every video. But Charlie Kirk's going to be doing well in Linden. That's the population center, and he's easily going to win Washington. Idaho comes out huge for Nick Fuentes. Obviously, that's Canyon's home state. Canyon comes out huge from the potato farmers really want Nick Fuentes, and pretty much every farmer wants Nick Fuentes. These farmers are done with. They're done with this weak establishment GOP that isn't doing enough to protect this country, not bringing law and order back. So Nick Fuentes is going to run a law and order campaign saying we're going to bring back your jobs, and we're going to do it quickly. And he's winning Oklahoma. He's going to lose Wyoming because the mountain Republicans hate Nick Fuentes in Wyoming. That's the Cheney state, basically. That's Dick Cheney, and that's Liz Cheney's home state. And then Kansas is going to come out huge for Charlie Kirk, since, there are neocons there in Kansas, and Chris Kobach can't win. No one can win. No America First candidate can win. And then Charlie Kirk, Charlie Kirk's going to win Colorado, even though Sex Laptop's going to be coming out huge for Nick Fuentes and the base Hispanics. The suburban white people in the suburbs, they just don't like Nick Fuentes at all. So he's going to be losing Colorado, but he's going to win New Mexico because the base Hispanics, they hate black people. Nick Fuentes also hates black people, so those two things just playing hand in hand. So he's going to be winning New Mexico. And then Texas is easily going to be going for Nick Fuentes, because I'm going to come out and endorse Nick Fuentes. I'm going to be doing fiery rallies for Nick Fuentes. The Groypers are going to help me get out huge white support for Nick Fuentes and bring out everyone to come out for Nick Fuentes, because people in Texas, they don't want their guns taken away. They don't want their penises taken away. So Nick Fuentes is, he's gonna run on law and order, and we're gonna arrest all these people that are they're doing riots in our country. We're gonna arrest them. But the Bush family is gonna come out huge for Nick Fuentes. Jeb Bush does fiery rallies for Charlie Kirk, and that's not really going to make the state close since the Texas is done with the Bushes. And then Louisiana, obviously David Duke's fiery rallies make that go for Nick Fuentes easily. Mississippi goes for Nick Fuentes. Arkansas goes for Nick Fuentes. Epstein comes out for Nick Fuentes. Alabama goes for Nick Fuentes. Even though Tommy Tuberville is going to come out huge for Charlie Kirk, but the Groypers are going to make sure Alabama doesn't go for Nick Fuentes by storming Tommy Tuberville's house and making sure he endorses Nick Fuentes instead of Charlie Kirk. Tennessee is going to go narrowly to Nick Fuentes because Boward might say he's a distributist, but that's just a lie, bro. He's a gay libertarian Republican who's going to come out huge for Charlie Kirk since Boward's part of the TPUSA. He's part of that LTE election mafia, so he's going to come out huge for Charlie Kirk so he can try to win Tennessee, but it's not going to work out. because, you know, this country wants America first. The Republicans want America first. People in Kentucky want America first. People in Georgia want America first. You know, all is going to help Nick Fuentes by endorsing him, even though he's not really too keen on Nick Fuentes. And South Carolina easily goes for Nick Fuentes. Florida, guess what? Goes for Nick Fuentes, because Xenox and his elite team of hackers come out huge for Nick Fuentes. You know, suppress the Charlie Kirk campaign. Get out as much dirt as possible on the Charlie Kirk campaign. And steal all their election funds. And Trump probably endorses Charlie Kirk since he loves Charlie Kirk, because Jared Kushner is going to push him in that direction. That's why Jared Kushner needs to be fired. By the way, Trump, you need to fire Jared Kushner. He's not helping you at all. But, you know, Trump's going to endorse Nick Fuentes, and that's not really going to help Nick Fuentes' campaign. But guess what? The Republican Party is changing, and they're changing in a good way. They're changing, and they want Nick Fuentes. They want America first, and they want Groypers. West Virginia easily comes out for Nick Fuentes. Obviously, Fletcher and BTD's fire naked rallies. North Carolina comes out for Nick Fuentes. You know, obviously he has a better healthcare plan. Charlie Kirk doesn't have much of a healthcare plan. You know, he's out of touch with the people. That's why he doesn't have a healthcare plan. And Backstar is not going to make an endorsement. I mean, he's a Democrat. He voted for he endorsed Mitt Romney in 2012, but then he went ahead and voted for Pete Buttigieg in the primary in 2020. So North Carolina is easily going to be going for Nick Fuentes, with Tom Tillis and Farway coming out huge for Nick Fuentes, and the Groypers are too, obviously. And then obviously Virginia, I mean, it's the establishment country, it's Charlie Kirk country. He's easily winning Virginia. Dylan Wiley, White Stained Glass, coming out huge for Nick Fuentes, doing fiery racist rallies with David Duke in Ohio for Nick Fuentes, so he can easily win the state. Indiana, you know, Indiana's kind of sour on Nick Fuentes because they think he's gay up there, but he's still going to be winning the state of Indiana. Lalo's going to be doing fiery rallies for Charlie Kirk there too. And then Missouri, the farmers there, they want Nick Fuentes, they want law and order, they want their jobs back, they want their farms back the way they were, they want their farms back, they don't want all these riots near their farms. And Iowa easily goes for Nick Fuentes. Illinois, whoa, I just made Iowa go for Charlie Kirk. No, it's easily going for Nick Fuentes. And then Illinois, I mean, it's Nick Fuentes and Charlie Kirk's home state, but, you know, Nick Fuentes isn't going to be doing well with the suburban Karens and the black people in Cook County. I think they're going to come out huge for Charlie Kirk. So he's easily going to be winning Illinois, his home state, and Nick Fuentes' home state, you know, but Nick Fuentes isn't winning Illinois. And then Minnesota, you know, they want law and order in Minnesota. Obviously, the fiery peaceful protests have been hurting Democrats in those states, but there's no Democrat. This is the Republican primary. But it's a big issue for the Republicans. They're going to see who's more law and order. Nick Fuentes is going to make himself at the more law and order. We're going to bring back your jobs. I'm not this huge extremist. You need to vote for me. We're going to change this country, obviously. Wisconsin easily going for Nick Fuentes. They want law and order, except for those cringe suburban Karens in the suburbs of Milwaukee. And then obviously Michigan narrowly goes for Nick Fuentes because, you know, they're more establishment in Michigan. Detroit, Oakland, Ann Arbor, Lansing, Grand Rapids come out huge for Charlie Kirk, but Macomb County will bail Nick Fuentes out because Red Eagle will do fiery rallies there for Nick Fuentes, talking about law and order, talking about we're going to bring back your jobs. Patriot too, he's going to be there talking about bring back your pickle jobs and bring back your jobs in Michigan, because Gretchen Whitmer has been destroying your roads and destroying your jobs, been sending them to China because they don't need to be there. So Nick Fuentes wins Michigan. D.C. easily goes for Charlie Kirk. Maryland easily goes for Charlie Kirk. LTE, you know, he's basically the leader of TPUSA, giving billions of dollars to Charlie Kirk, doing fiery gay TikTok rallies in Maryland for Charlie Kirk so he could easily win the state. Kevin and Finnegan do fiery naked rallies in Delaware to make Delaware go red. I think Charlie Kirk narrowly wins New Jersey. The election mafia is going to come out huge for Charlie Kirk there, so he can win the state. And then Pennsylvania, you know, the coal simp workers in Western Pennsylvania come out huge for Nick Fuentes. When Mike endorses Charlie Kirk, and the gay cringe suburban Karens come out huge for Charlie Kirk in Pennsylvania. But I still think the state's going to go red for Nick Fuentes. And then Charlie Kirk is easily going to win Connecticut, or narrowly win Connecticut. And in New York, well, I think the Jews are going to come out huge for Charlie Kirk in New York City and in upstate New York. Fish and the Yappa Mess Company come out huge for Charlie Kirk, which is going to help him do better in upstate New York when Nick Fuentes has a bit of strength. Obviously, Nick Fuentes is still going to be winning upstate New York, but Charlie Kirk is really going to get huge Jew turnout. And Ben Shapiro's fiery rallies in New York are really going to make that state go for Charlie Kirk in the Republican primary, so he's going to get those delegates. And then obviously Rhode Island is going to go for Charlie Kirk and Massachusetts, because Matt Gagnon and his, his fat company want Charlie Kirk in there. They want the illegal immigrants. This Charlie Kirk's for open borders. He might lie to you on the news and say, I'm America first. We need to secure our borders, but that's not true. Charlie Kirk's already said multiple times he wants open borders. He's not conservative. He's a libertarian, but there's still many people in the Republican Party that are weirdly libertarian. Vermont, I think it is going to go for Charlie Kirk. Sticks obviously comes out for him. New Hampshire, it's going to come out for Charlie Kirk. They're not America First in New Hampshire. They're very libertarian. And then Maine, they're more America First there. I think they're going to narrowly vote for Nick Fuentes. So our final map has Nick Fuentes easily winning this Republican primary. He's going to be winning with 1,479 delegates to Charlie Kirk's 1,083 delegates. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please leave video ideas in the comment section below. Please like and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next video. TPUSA Gaming out.